What's going on, everyone? ODC here, and I'm back with another action figure review. Today's review, it's a twofer. We're going to take a look at the Star Wars Black Series Clone Wars 50-year Lucasfilm edition. We're going to be looking at Hawk, and we're going to be looking at Echo, the ARC Trooper. Basically, really quick, both of these characters are actually featured in the Clone Wars series. Hawk was actually a pilot of a Republic gunship and actually rescued Anakin a few times, picked him up, dropped him off for missions and stuff like that. And then Echo over here, we all know who Echo and Fives are. Hopefully we get Fives sooner than later, but it's really nice that we actually do have Echo. One of the last few characters I actually care about getting as far as the Black Series goes. So pretty excited about this review. The packaging is pretty much the same for both of them. I just did open up Hawk a little bit sooner as I was waiting for Echo to arrive. But here's Echo's packaging. This is all that kind of old school Clone Wars packaging that we've got on the back. It's very basic. It just gives pretty much just a timeline of what's been going on as far as the movies and such and media goes. So it just gives you a pretty short synopsis from 1971 all the way to the inception of Lucasfilm, all the way to where we are now in 2021. Pretty cool, you know, I mean, well, pretty basic, I should say. But the figure is really why we're here, so let's not waste any more time. We've already got Hawk out of package, and we'll take a look at both of these. Okay, and we're back with both figures out of package, and I gotta say it looks really good. Both of them are really nicely done. Obviously, the bright point out of the two here is probably going to be Echo. He comes with the most. He comes with a regular blaster rifle, and the extended blaster rifle and the two blaster pistols, where Hawk just pretty much comes, I mean, he's a pilot, so it's expected. He just comes with the regular blaster rifle. Hawk, though, just bringing him in, like I said, he's just a pilot, pretty much. I really like the differentiation in the head sculpt here. I think that's what really is a huge selling point for this figure. I'm pretty sure he's still using the old body mold. I still see the double jointed elbows here, and just to bring in a frame of reference, we'll bring in Commander Cody here. And as you can see, the double jointed elbows are still there from the old body. The hips are still the double jointed knees from the old hips, or the old legs, excuse me, hips. But this is pretty much very similar in body. The torsos are probably different. You can see a little bit of differentiation in the back of the torso here. So the sculpting on the torsos are different. But it does use similar parts from the old Clone Trooper body. The head sculpt, I think, like I said, is really where it's at. I really like this chest piece too. The articulation and everything, range of motion is really good on him. Pretty simple, though. Also, the head can go up, the head can also go down. Just be careful with these wires that are attached. Try not to extend it too much. You don't want to push on these wires too much, or these tubings too much, or you might snap them off. It is a little bit more of a pliable plastic, so they can flex a little bit, but I could see over time maybe the pressures of time, these start to crack. So just be forewarned about that. The head can tilt side to side, and it can swivel. Cannot do a full 360 due to the tubing. Let's see if he's got some job turkeys. Oh yeah, we got some gobbledygookas up in here. Okay, and the arms go up about that far. Down. You can do a full 360 rotation in there. He does have a bicep swivel. And he does have those, like I said, old school double jointed elbows, which is a pretty good range of motion right there. So it does utilize two different joints, where some older bodies, they would only really get like one bend out of it, kind of like the old stormtroopers. They they kind of had an awkward bend to them. The wrists swivel, and this wrist goes in and out, where this wrist goes up and down. So that's nice to have that pistol hinge. And then we have a diaphragm joint here, which swivels, pivots, crunches forward and back a little bit. He can do the splits about that far. Not that he needs to do the splits. He's pretty much just a pilot. Legs go forward, legs go back, upper thigh swivel. We do have a double jointed knee, which is a little bit hindered just due to the sculpting of the armor there. And then he can point the toe a little bit, not too much really, because the back of this sculpted piece right here is actually getting in the way. But he can point the heel about that far on both. And then he does have ankle pivot. Don't really have too many hindering issues with him standing or anything like that. All these clone troopers stand very well, so there's not any issue there. It would have been nice if he did have some sort of holster for this, or like maybe like a peg system. But, you know, still, you don't have to have him with the rifle anyway. So rifle's just, I feel like, more of an option when it comes to a pilot. For the most part, they're going to be in the cockpit anyway, so not too worried about that. The sculpted detail right here looks really good for the helmet. I really think this is the selling point for the figure. It's a very cool, unique design for the pilot's helmet. And the respirator right here and everything, he's got kind of nice, really nice sculpted detail. And then the painted lines are very crisp and clean. There's not paint slop or anything like that. Over here is where we got paint slop, but that's intended due to some weathering. So that's good. I like that. Gives him a little bit more character. We have a little bit of weathering down here also for the blue on the knee pads, or the knee guards, or knee armor. I don't know why I'm calling them guards. We have a little bit more weathering right here too, and on that side as well. And the sculpt of the gauntlet armor looks really nice as well. So, I mean, he's very simple figure. He's just a pilot, and if you wanted to army build him, I guess you could. He runs a little bit on the cheaper side for the Walmart exclusives. I know these are, or the Target exclusives, excuse me. These are all Target exclusives. And I know these are a lot harder to find. I still have not seen a set yet. I actually purchased both of these online for about, I think it was like 30 bucks a piece. I think I paid 25 for him, and then it was like 30 for Echo. So, but that was on eBay, so I just happened to get lucky. I think now friggin' Echo goes for like 50 bucks, which is just way too much money, if you ask me. Continuing on to the, going off on a tangent there. Continuing on to the rest of the helmet, looks really good, nice, crisp, and clean. It also has a nice little, like, kind of, I don't know, like freshly, I don't know, it's just like different texture. It's not as glossy, so it has a nice, new, plasticky feel to it. So it's really nice to have that little bit of a less of a gloss for the helmet, as opposed to when we get to the chest area, you can see it's very glossy, which I also don't mind, because that's pretty much what, clone troopers and stormtroopers had. They were pretty much of a glossier type armor. Same thing for the legs as well. Like I said, this is like a pretty basic design. It's nothing too insane here. To get him posed, like I said, he can hold a pose, and let's just see how dynamic we can get him really quick. We'll just have him kind of holding his rifle here in a very dynamic, over exaggerated way here. He's ready to take on, or at least direct other troopers to where the ship is. Go over this way, go that way, quick, move, you know. I'll cover you, go, you know, all that jazz. He can two-hand the rifle as well. Just got to work with it. I did notice that these hands are a lot more flexible as opposed to the older hands like Captain Rex. Some of these older hands, they were much harder plastic, and it just wasn't really fun to get stuff in their hands. I mean, they held them very well, but the plastic was so hard around their fingers, it actually would hurt your like thumbnail or your finger trying to get them to spread out so you could get their two-hand the rifle like they're supposed to. But you can get him to two-hand a rifle properly if you need him to, just like so. And it works really well. And you can even get the head tilt in there. So he looks pretty damn proper as far as that's concerned. There we go. That looks good. I really do like this quite a bit. Having him being able to aim down the sights. And the Black Series is always usually pretty good with every character being able to do this pose. That is just, it's a pretty basic pose, but you know, there's a lot of toy companies out there that just can't handle getting this pose down. So it's nice that we do have that here. So, but that's pretty much it. I mean, for Hawk here, like I said, he's simple in design, but he does the job. He needs to look a certain way. He only needed to come with a couple little things. If I could have improved on this figure a little bit, I would have liked to see maybe a pointing finger or a pointing hand. A couple extra hands would have been nice, seeing as this is like a Target exclusive. And I doubt we're probably going to get another one of these Hawk figures released. Maybe I'm wrong down the line, because the Black Series does like to release a lot of figures, but I think for the most part, it would have been nice if they would have included some extra hands, interchangeable hands with them. I feel like sometimes in the Black Series line, they get caught up in just how basic a figure comes, only with the very minimalistic stuff. But then again, we do get pretty decent paint apps with them, and their head sculpts have gotten a lot better over time. So, but that's pretty much it for Hawk, and we'll get to Echo next. All right, and we're back with Echo here, and he's a lot of fun just to look at. Aesthetically, he is top-notch. I really don't have too many issues with him aesthetically. He does have the new Clone Trooper body with the single, single jointed elbows, or single jointed single jointed elbows and knees. And it just has a better, I don't know, like a more solid feel to it for some reason than the older body. Feels a little bit gangly. This feels a little bit thicker and more sturdy to me. Like he's not gonna fall over or anything like that. So that's good. That's a really nice thing. He also does have a functional rangefinder right there, which is really nice. Same thing that Captain Rex and some other commanders did have. But it's nice to see that they gave that to Echo as well. I'm probably going to have him posed with his longer or his larger rifle here. I just think it looks a little bit better. Him being an ARC Trooper and having upgraded kind of heavier armor, I think it makes sense for him to have a larger rifle. I know for the most part he did use, I believe this is the DC-15. Let me know in the comments below. I'm probably saying it wrong. It's not the end of the world. But, you know, I think this is the DC-15. It's just off the top of my head. I think that's what it's called. One of them are called the DC-15, A, B, or C, or whatever. But anyway, you take the helmet off, and you see this really nice Clone Trooper head sculpt. And it does differentiate from, obviously, Captain Rex's. There's just a little comparison between the two. And as you can see, like I said, the paint detail is actually very much improved from Captain Rex. And this is an older figure from the, the Hascon, or whatever it was, Hascon exclusive. That's what this one is specifically. But I like this face sculpt. It looks really nice. It's nice and crisp and clean. It's a little bit of weathering on it too, just to bring out all those kind of wrinkles and such. I think they're really doing a bang-up job with the face sculpts, especially with the Clone Troopers. And I'm really liking this neck articulation. It just feels very fluid. I like that quite a bit. It doesn't feel overly stiff, kind of like Rex's does. Rex, a little bit was stiff in this neck, and I really had to loosen this neck up when I got mine. But with some of them, Like even him, he feels a little bit loose, a little bit clunky with his. But Echo here, it's very fluid, like I said, very nice and solid. It's not loose or anything like that, so no worries there. I really love this detail, the hand mark for Echo right there, the whole pauldron right here, and chest armor right here, the extra armor that he's got on there. The backpack is really cool. It's non-removable, so it is sculpted, kind of glued on there. I guess if you really wanted to, you could take it off if you wanted to, but I'm not going to damage my figure trying to take it off, so there's no point to it. I like the differentiation in the, I guess you call this the, I forgot the name of it, the comma here, where Rex had cloth, you have plastic. This can go one of two ways. Either it can go really well, or it can go really bad. I think this is one of those cases where they actually did it very well. This is not a very thick plastic. It's very pliable, so you can get it to curl and such. It'll get out of its own way, which is good for articulation and range of motion areas, so that's good. Like I said, the waist section where we have all of his kind of utility belt and everything. We've got kind of like, what was it, these pockets right here, or ammo pockets right there. And then we do have the gun holsters, which are functional. So you can take those pistols out if you need to, out of both sides. So really good job, I think, on this comma. And I apologize for getting the name. But and then moving on down to the lower legs. The lower legs look really good. Very nicely done with the extra sculpting right here for the extra armor there. I'm really looking forward to getting 5s. And then we can kind of almost call it a day with most of these clone troopers, you know? I mean, the more clone troopers, the merrier, I always say. That was some of the bright points of the Clone Wars, was a lot of those clone trooper episodes, which is really cool. The next thing I want to note is about the helmet fitment. I always would get kind of worried about Rex's helmet, because it was a much tighter fit. And if you guys own Rex out there, then you know what I'm talking about. This is a much tighter fit. That's why I kind of always have him just holding his helmet, because I feel like I'm just going to scrape the paint right off of him, or, you know, cause paint to chip off or something like that. So I always just have him holding his helmet. I think it would have been kind of nice if they would have just had alternate helmet heads there, where you could just pop them on, pop them off. It's nice that they're continuing to do this, though, with the helmets fitting on the head, and I think they've mastered it finally. It's the right amount of room. Whatever they did here, continue to do in the future with all the other clone troopers, because it's a really nice, just slides right on. You don't feel like it's going to scrape any paint or damage the figure if you have this on too long, or keep continuously putting it on, taking it off, putting it on, taking it off. It feels really nice. And I think this is probably the best clone trooper removable helmet that I've seen. I actually thought Commander Wolf had the best one before this as far as fitment goes, but this is the best one as far as fitment goes across the board. I do have a little bit of like paint. I want to say it's just like paint inconsistencies here with this stripe. As you can see, it's kind of like crooked if we look straight on, and that could just be a sculpt error right here. But if you look at the lines on each side, they're not even. So I mean, it's not, like I said, it's not the end of the world, but I do notice that it is crooked, and that actually could be the sculpt of the line work here, just for the sculpt. But something looks a little bit off here, and I think that might just be the sculpt. Could be the paint lines, but I think there's a little bit deeper of a paint line here than on this side. So that could be it. It's not, like I said, it's not the end of the world, just something to point out for my copy of this. We do have a little bit of inconsistent line work right here for these two lines going up for the rest of his helmet. The rest of the blue paint looks pretty good going throughout there. Onto the back, with the gray and the black and the rest of the white, which is just a white plastic. But the gray and the black look pretty good. A little bit of inconsistency here with the black not connecting all the way over like this one did. So there's that to point out, but the backpack looks really crisp and clean. They did a really good clean job on this kind of gunmetal gray they went with for the backpack. Same thing goes for the kind of like, I guess, navy blue that it's like a deep navy blue for the pistol holsters and these little pockets right here. And then you do have actual black pockets here, so they do differentiate from the like dark navy blue that we have here for the straps right here and the holsters and these pockets. And even the backpack is kind of like that navy blue. I really like the pauldron. The pauldron really kind of pulls your eyes into the figure and the design of the figure. So I really do like this pauldron quite a bit. I've always liked the ARC Troopers design, so I really do dig that quite a bit. I like the little bit of weathering that he does have here for his Echo design, so that's really good. The gauntlets here are a new sculpt, so that's good. Very similar to Boba Fett right here, and just to kind of point that out, let me see if I can grab Boba Fett here without knocking shit over. And as you can see, there's a little bit of, a nod to the Boba Fetters, and this is the Return of the Jedi one, deluxe one. That's a fantastic figure. It's still my favorite look for Boba Fett. I know a lot of people like the Empire Strikes Back version, but I actually like the Return of the Jedi version a little bit better. I like a little bit more of color that he displays, but that's just me. Anyway, maybe one day I'll do that review. As far as his articulation does go, I'll do articulation with the helmet on and off, and then we'll get to accessories and stuff. Don't worry, I didn't forget that. The helmet, with the helmet on, he can swivel full 360 if you need him to. He can look up very well. He can look down pretty nicely. Pivot side to side. Let's see if we got jive turkeys up in here. Oh, yeah, he's a jive turkey master. Okay, arms go up. That went on way too long, the jive turkeyness, but arms go down. He can do a full 360 rotation if you need him to, but I mean, I don't know why you would want to. He does have a single bend, which is actually really good single bend. I want to say it's just a little bit less than the double jointed one on Hawk, and just to kind of point that out or prove that, here's Hawk's double joint, and here is Echo's, and he gets a little bit more, but I don't think you really need. Do you need more than this? I don't think for Echo you do, but I think it's a really good double jointed elbow. We do have an elbow swivel, which I actually do prefer for the clones. I think it's better for aiming down the sights and such. And I guess I'm just kind of getting used to it because most 3 3/4 inch figures have this elbow swivel for like the longest time. So there's that. But really good range of motion in the elbow. Swivel at the wrist. It can hinge back and forth. This side can hinge up and down in that pistol hinge. He does have a diaphragm joint, which actually does get way better range of motion than Hawk's old body does. He can crunch forward and back. He can also swivel, and it's a much more fluid motion on this new body. I love it. He can do the splits really well, even with the plastic comma on, so that's good. And it can actually hold. That's the important part. Some of you can do the splits with the other commas, and they're just too thick, and the legs will just start doing this and pushing the legs down. But these hold, so that's good. The leg can go forward. It's a little bit hindered, it is, and it's kind of kicking that leg out still, like the other clone troopers would do. Legs go back, upper thigh swivel. He does have a single jointed knee, but it gets pretty good, damn good range of motion right there. And then it can also swivel. He can point the toe a lot better than the older bodies could too. So that's important as well. And he can point the heel better. And he has better range of motion in the ankle as far as an ankle pivot. So really well done. I think for the most part, I really have kind of fallen in love with the new body design, especially for the Stormtroopers, and they're kind of utilizing that almost 3 3/4 inch kind of articulation. And I dig that. I dig that quite a bit. And I think they did a really good job. As far as his articulation without his helmet, though, his head can look up, down, pivot side to side, swivel also. So pretty much almost the same range of motion, even with the helmet on, which rarely you do see. We still got jive turkeys up in here. So just a little bit. I think I'm going to actually have him displayed with his helmet on. You know, I thought before, I was like, oh boy, he's going to have that helmet syndrome where he, it's so tight, I'm just going to end up leaving the damn helmet off. But I'm going to have Echo with his helmet on, and I think he looks really good. Like I said earlier, you can get the rangefinder down if you need to, which looks pretty cool. And he can hold all of his weapons as well, so that's nice. There we go. And if you want to be silly with it, he can hold everything. Let's get real silly with it. And these hands are just so much easier to deal with as far as that goes. There, now he's an 80s action star. He's holding all of the guns. I am holding all of the guns at once. You know? But I guess if you wanted to kind of have this kind of, you know, rested here, you could, or vice versa. If you wanted to have this rested here, you could. And it kind of actually doesn't look too bad with that rested up top like that. And then you could have him hold his larger rifle if you wanted him to. Let's see if I can get this situated properly. This is a really well done figure overall. I'm loving the plastics that they're using for this. Maybe some people don't like it. I don't know. I haven't really checked if other people or what the consensus is, but personally, objectively, I like the way that this figure is set up top to bottom, front and back. A little bit of paint slop on the helmet, but it's not the end of the world. I think it's what's really throwing off this kind of piece right here on top of the helmet right here is actually the line work for these little kind of funky things. It's making things look crooked. This one's like a little bit too close, where this one's kind of arching back more, if you can see what I'm talking about there. So, but he can hold everything if you need him to. So you don't have to put anything in a baggie with him. Use your imagination, even though if it's not accurate, and pop that sucker on there if you want to, you know? And there you go. And if you think it looks stupid, just take it off. You don't have to do it. So he does come with, like I said, the 2 rifles and the pistols, and he can hold his pistols just fine and dandy. So very, very nicely done figure overall. Really like from the paint detail to the sculpt. He does not have a trigger finger in this hand, which I kind of wish he did. It's kind of just bugging the shit out of me. If you're gonna have a character with 2 guns, or actually 4 weapons, give them 2 trigger fingers, please. I could take an X-Acto knife and just kind of cut that open, but I shouldn't have to mod the figure. You guys should, Hasbro should figure this out before they give it to us, you know? Do all of the homework, not some of the homework, Hasbro. Okay, and just a quick comparison. Here we have 2 of the older bodies right here with the newer clone body. And they should be around the same size. He's got his legs spread out a little bit more, so let me just fix that for you guys. As you can see, they're pretty much the same size. And if Rex does look shorter, it's actually an optical illusion, because if you take his helmet off, they are pretty much the same size. Maybe Rex is a little bit shorter. Let me just double check his here. Fix his ankles. And we'll just bring them back to back and just see this. Yeah, I guess Rex is a little bit shorter just because he's using that old body. But I think if you put the helmet on him, which we'll do right now, if you put the helmet on him, it might fix some of that height issue that some people maybe have. With, I know the newer bodies, the necks sit a little bit higher. But across the board, I think this looks pretty good. I think they fit in together. I'm not going to nitpick the shit out of, oh my God, he's a hair shorter and it's driving me up. I don't care. I don't care. These are action figures. It's not going to bother me that one is a hair, like a swear of a hair smaller. I don't even know what a swear of a hair means, but you get my drift. Okay, next up for comparison with Hawk and Echo, we have Jerome, which is one of my favorite Halo armor suits. And I'm actually hoping that one day we get a single campaign for Jerome. I'd like to dive into more of his character in the Halo universe. But anyway, here's how he stacks up with the Wicked Cool Toys Spartan collection action figures. So, he's, I think Jerome's around 7'1", if I'm not mistaken. But he's around 7 feet tall either way. But, yeah, I don't really know if it stacks up. Because if they're supposed to be like 6 feet tall or 5'11", and he's like 7'2", maybe it could work. But he looks more like 8 feet tall here, but that's neither here nor there. All right, next up, we've got a Neca Keaton Batman, one of still my favorite Neca figures. He just needs to stand there and look the part, and that's what he does, man. But that's how he stacks up with a Neca figure. Okay, and I got to do a Boba Fett comparison here, so that's how they stack up with Boba Fett here from the Return of the Jedi Deluxe figure. Okay, and just a comparison with the McFarlane Toys figures. Here we have The Witcher, from the Witcher Wild Hunt action figure line. Okay, and last up, we've got a Marvel Legend here with the retro Spider-Man action figure. So that's how he stacks up with Marvel Legends. Okay, so my final thoughts on Hawk and Echo. I want to give these guys definitely 2 thumbs up. I think these are definitely worth a damn buy. They look really good. They look good. They feel good. Even him using the old clone trooper body, I think it still works for him. He's a little bit hindered still. I'd like to see some of the clone troopers. They kind of like redesign the way that the armor hits the kind of the lower torso armor, how it rubs up against. But I still think that they're on the right track with especially the range of motion in one of these ARC troopers. I think that they could pump out a bunch of ARC troopers using this body. And I think it's a really, really well done, well engineered body as far as I'm concerned, what I think personally. I think it's a much improved body over the older one, better range of motion. Everything just feels a lot more solid, a little bit more sturdy, and a lot more fluid when you are articulating the points of articulation. So the range of motion is really good on them both. I think it's a lot better on the newer body. And if I had to pick between the two, I'd obviously say that Echo is the winner here. But they're both really good figures. And if you don't have Hawk and you want to add a clone trooper pilot to your collection, because we don't have any yet until Hawk, I think this is a good way to add more to your ranks as far as that's concerned. Echo is a much needed figure that we've been kind of begging for. I actually have custom pieces that I was still going to make one, but now I just might make him a plain Jane ARC Trooper. I like the gauntlets here. I really like the sculpting of the shin armor. All of this stuff, the backpack, the helmet, the way the helmet fits. I think it's just a solid home run grand slam as far as Echo goes. And I can't wait for Fives, man. I'm really looking forward to that figure as well. The fitment of the helmet, I really can't stress this enough. The fitment of the helmet has really been kind of the bane of my existence. The bane of, my existence, but the figure's existence in the past. This makes you kind of want to play with that helmet, taking it on, taking it off, taking it off. And it kind of harkens back to the old days where that mail away, Luke Skywalker in Stormtrooper disguise, figure that you had to mail away for. I used to love just taking his helmet off and putting it back on. And it went on so smoothly. So it's really nice figures. I definitely would give them, like I said, a full recommendation, and go pick them up. I definitely would not pay a price point of $50 though. I think that's way overpriced, and I would stick to either the retail or don't go above 30 really. But I understand how the markets are. But with that being said, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you for watching as always, and I'll see you guys on the flip side.